Hi, everybody. Welcome, everyone. Just going to give it a few minutes for everybody to get online. I remembered to start my video this way, horizontally, so that you guys would have a better viewpoint. And last week I tried to use my, well, I'm using it again, my camera, my Canon, to record this as well so that I can upload it to the private channel on YouTube, and it was blurry. So I guess I touched a setting. So I am absolutely horrible at this camera stuff. Okay, so for, hi Jen, welcome. I don't know what is wrong with my dog, but he's right beside me. I think there's people outside and he's not liking the noise, so he's sticking close to me. I have to make sure not to step on him. So for those of you who saw the post and watched last week's, I'm going to try and do a Cy Twombly painting that does not, like, please don't think that it's going to look like a Cy Twombly paint. I mean, I'm going to try, but I don't know how it's going to turn out. I've never done this before, but I want you to, the reason I'm doing this is I want you to try and understand the process of layering and how each layer makes everything a little bit more rich. And in order to get a really vibrant, sophisticated painting, you have to learn how to layer and how to make things all kind of relate to each other and work together and make a beautiful composition. And so I did post the painting that I was going to try and reproduce. I giggle because I have no idea how it's going to turn out. And I also just want to really make this clear. I don't condone, like, I do condone this, but I do think you should do it with artists that are dead. Because it's not fair to living artists to go and recreate their work and post it publicly. It's not fair to the artist that's trying to make a living. Cy Twombly is no longer with us. I cannot sell his work as copyright protected for like 70 some years. So this isn't an image that, should something come out here that I think is viable and sellable, it's not for sale. I will have to paint over it and make it look more like a Mirabelli than a Cy Twombly. So just keep that in mind. If you are going to post your paintings online to your own Facebooks, please say that this was a lesson and that you were practicing a Cy Twombly style. I think that's the best way to do that. And so I have Cy, I think Cy mostly painted on linen, raw canvas. I don't have raw I do have raw canvas, but I thought that would make it even harder for me because I'm not one to paint on raw canvas. So I thought I would try and mimic raw canvas. And the way I have some modeling paste on here already. And then I went and added a very thin layer of sepia paint, lightly washed over, and then used a paper towel to rub some of it off. And then I just did a little test area at the top here. I added some Tri-Art warm white, and I'm also mixing it with matte medium. Because we're doing a lot of mark making tonight, having a matte medium over your entire surface gives your canvas grit, so that when you're using pencil crayons and pencils or any kind of mark making tool, it picks it up a lot easier because it doesn't glide over a gloss. It's got more tooth to it, like a sandpaper. So I'm just going to continue on and show you it, show you this process on how I'm trying to achieve a little bit more of a raw canvas look. And I don't think I'm going to do the whole thing. But I am going to leave, and I am going to leave some areas that are a bit darker. And the other thing to note is I don't have any 36 by 36 canvases. And so it's not the same shape as the painting that we're looking at. I want some of the sepia to come through. I think it just adds another layer. Sai has a bit more of a graphite blend to his because he uses a lot of pencil. But I will see if I can get that. And if I don't, no big deal. I was practicing with some underlayer in my texture. I was practicing a couple of different ways. I do have his painting in front of me, just in case you're wondering what I look like, or what I'm looking, in case you're wondering what I look like. In case you're wondering what I'm looking at, I am using his painting for reference. So I do think that that gives it a much more a raw canvasy kind of vibe. So if you are wanting to work on raw canvas, but would have challenges because of how you have to work it, you could always try it this way. It's not really the same, but it's not bad. It's not bad. So that has enough. I'm going to just blow dry that for a minute. Okay, what's really cool about this is I often forget that matte medium is is a good thing to put on your canvas before you actually start mark making, because it does give it some tooth. So I'm glad I remembered that part. Okay, so I think from me examining his work, more so this painting, is he really used a lot of graphite. And do you think, for the love of goodness, that I could find my graphite, like my thick one? Couldn't find it anywhere. And it's because I'm in process of like she says it's in a pencil. I know where it is. It's just a matter of I couldn't find it. So I did find some pencils. You would want to use a really thick pencil. I tried to find my good drawing pencils, but I only found cheap ones. But this is a 10B. And so he really did a lot of etching first. Like he did, I do feel like this might need to be just a little bit lighter. I'm going to do, if that's okay with you guys, I hope you don't mind, I'm going to do one more, just a couple of areas here where I'm going to lighten it out even more, because I see the contrast to the lead, and it's not quite what I would want. And this is catch your mistakes, but before you go further. Don't continue on if you don't have what you need in order to get the right effect. And I do see that he has some white in here anyway, so I might just leave some areas even whiter and then be able to do some of my marks over top of that. That might just be the best thing. So I'll even do this one even a little bit lighter. And I'm also mixing a little bit more of titanium white in this one, just to bring the brightness out a little bit more. This is almost like, for all of us back in the day, it's called faux painting, when we used to like do special techniques on walls, painting walls, you know, like we'd call it like faux marble, or I think there were other names of things, but I can't think of them right now. Louis, are you having a hard night tonight? Hey, what's the matter, buddy? It's been raining, guys, so he is miserable when it rains, because he doesn't like the rain, but he wants to go outside desperately and play. Okay. Let's see. Worst case scenario, that's a little bit better actually. Now I can kind of see. I wanted to be able to see my marks. And I'm not going to do like right to like all of his special little marks. I just don't have time to do all that. I don't even know what he does. I just know he does some lyrical. That's why he does some script work, some writings. I don't know what it says. Where is my sharpener? You know what, guys? I only lose stuff when I'm online. There it is. It's right in front of my face. When I'm on my own, it just doesn't matter. If I can't find something, I use something else. So I think this is what, I'm gonna try my good pencil and see if it works any better. It's a little bit brighter. You know, sometimes it does make a difference to have better tools. And so the one that I'm using from Stedler is only a 4B, and it's so much more vibrant than a 10B from a cheap company. It does do a little bit of blending. I'm going to try and use one of my Inktense pencils. This would be even darker and a little bit more blending, so maybe I'll just use this. Again, I see he has I don't know if my dog is in the shot right now, but he is right here. And every time I look at my computer, he thinks I'm looking at him. And his little tail just wags. Like, no, buddy, we're not going outside right now. Trying to blend a little bit. Remember I said he uses graphite, and so there is a little bit of a lot of pencil graphite darkness in there that's blurred. He is very, very, like, now that I really have examined his paintings. Well, that's hard on my arm. I've been doing some weightlifting, so keeping my arm, I did shoulders yesterday. And to keep my arms up that high is like, ugh. You can see, I hope you can see that it's starting to blur a little bit, and that's kind of what I want. I want all of these marks, and then I want all these marks to kind of blur together. He was a fantastic scribbler. Boy, oh boy. I should not have done shoulders yesterday. It looks like, considering how long I've been at this in terms of like scribbling, and his is so fine and so much more detailed. It's amazing. I never realized how much he did scribble. And he was very good at smudging his work. Like, all of these smudges would freak me out if this was my painting. I would just have such a hard time with it. But he just did not care. He had such a playful approach to his work, a childish approach to his work. You know, when you're young, you just don't care. And you're just excited to make the best scribble ever. Because in your mind, when you were little, it wasn't just a scribble. It was a beautiful painting in your head. goodness me. Mental note, do not do shoulders when you have to scribble for this length of time. I love the delicateness of it. This is really nice. Like, I don't know if it's really nice, but I mean, it kind of looks like it. I think I do like the ink tense pencil the best. I like it, well, it would work better. Charcoal would have worked really well too. I just don't like charcoal. I just find it just too messy. It's on my face. I do see a little bit of blue in there. Like a blue pencil that he used. So, and I do have, I don't know what it is. It's kind of like an ink tense pencil as well. But it's more like a pigment pencil. Like it would blur. Like, if you can see that. It's like a watercolor pencil. So it would, you know, do that. It's water soluble. That's the word I'm looking for. See, now for him, if he was on raw canvas, this would just stain the canvas instead of sit on the canvas. So it would be a little bit of an easier process to some degree, but not. It's still kind of looking like it. Scribbles and scribbles. It does have one big square in here, so I'm just going to kind of map that out. It's interesting that he has that very centered and it's dark. If you look at the original painting, he's got one big kind of like sort of dark square that's all squiggly, but he counterbalances it because remember I say about having something in the middle, you never really want such a strong focal point in the middle, but he is such a master that he has a couple of darker lines here, and then off the canvas that it draws you away. And that's why having that in the center for him, it works, because he just balanced his canvas in such a sophisticated way. He's such a master. And I want to get some of those marks in, but he did do those. Probably, I would think he did those stronger bold marks at the end to give it that balance. When he was looking at it, he was probably thinking to himself, it's not quite balanced, and that's how he chose to balance it out. And hopefully, if Cy was in this room, he would agree with me. Everything is just a little delicate touch. So he worked the very first layers that he would put on would be really delicate little layers. Building stuff up really slowly. Well, not really slowly. I think side probably worked quite quickly. I'm just using a very little bit of black, but I'm mixing it in with a shit ton of matte medium so that I can try and mimic that this is soaking, this darkness is soaking into the canvas a little bit. Because remember, I am trying to make it look like I'm working on raw canvas. And I'm trying to follow, he really had this kind of motion stroke when he was making these marks here. So I am trying to follow that. I hope you guys can see this okay. It is quite a delicate painting until I get a little bit into the layers, the darker areas. There's more blue in there, so I'm gonna I would think he added the red closer to the end as well. There's some bits of white down here. Doesn't even look like down here that probably not using the right technique down here. That's all right. Doesn't really matter. It's almost like he was finger painting a little bit. I suspect there was an element of blending stuff with his fingers. I don't have gloves, so I really don't want to do that. Even though I'm really tempted to. Let's just do a little. Again, he had a lot of motion going that way. Overboard. Too much white there. He was a master. Okay. I don't think that's gonna work. Where do you have to go? I need more blue. I just have to figure out how I can get that blue to look like that. He also used a lot of crayons. He probably used, will this work? This might work. Louis, you're really disrupting my flow here. You went outside before I started. Mm-hmm. Put some on, take some off, put some on, take some off. So even though there was writing there, and I kind of removed it a little bit and blurred it in, I'm now going back over and adding a little bit more. So it wasn't just one layer of writing, he did multiple layers of writing. And then he would, he would take his time and blend that back in, and he would do it again. Let that dry and do a little bit more. Doesn't have a lot of writing on this side. I'm not too worried about that side. I should take a step back actually and just have a look and see what I'm doing. I'm just turning my camera on again because what's funny is I did not notice that dark blue until I got up close. How funny is that? Okay, you need to go. Please, Making me feel so guilty right now, Louie. It's very distracting. Out you go. No, I want you out. Go on. Get. Like, how annoying can a dog be? I mean, I feel bad, but enough is enough. The yellow I used was not the right yellow. I'll let that dry and I'll deepen it up. Too much black. Louie, you're being really naughty tonight. There's always action on this street when it's time for me to go live. I'm trying to go a little bit darker because I have this feeling it's not transferring in terms of letting you guys see what I'm doing, just because it was so delicate. So I'm going just a little bit darker. I do like that though. Adding some white. And then he did a brown color here. I don't have that color. I'm using red last. I'm going to use red last. Let's see if I can mix this color. At least something close to it. This was probably more of a crayon that he used. I don't think I really have anything that color. More gold. Okay, you're having a rough night tonight. What is the matter? You never do that. What's got you all waked out? Let's all pretend that this is crayon. There's really no mistaking crayon. I just thought of something. That was light crayon. What was I thinking? Just don't like the neighbors, do you, Louie? Oh, there's some yellow on there. Oops. Oops, a daisy. There's no yellow over here. There is some over here. I feel like there's some black over here. So for everybody who thinks mark making is easy, it's so not. It's just so many layers. I keep saying that because it's astounding to me now that I've actually attempted one of his paintings over and over and over. He just did these layers. I don't have half the stuff that he has on his paintings. I am going to embellish a little bit. Time for a little pink. Not to mention, his paintings were huge. They weren't just little paintings. They were massive. So can you imagine making all these little tiny marks? Looking for my big, thick black marker. I don't know where it is. Oh, it's actually quite pretty from a distance. Oh, there it is. Huh. This is a little, his was much more dainty. I don't have that yet. I think it's like a little bit of a little sprinkle. Not that much. That was a little bit too much. I'm okay to remove some of that. And it's only going to add to it. Layers, 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 layers. Oh, we got really out here. How much more? Oh, I still got more time to play with it. I still haven't even added the red. You had big blobs of thick paint that he would just add in there. It would blend in. Master. Took a little bit of that. Where's my pink? Where's my pink? I actually prefer the purple, I think. I have not checked the comments, so I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm just into this painting, so I will check them all out when I'm just about at the finish line. Maybe red. Maybe it is red. Red and pink. Orange. I don't know if that's orange or red. It's not dark enough. It needs to be, it's such a deep, deep, deep red. I don't know if I have anything that will translate that. It's a really bright pink. Actually, what I have is downstairs, so I'm gonna have to just, this might work. Let's try this. You know what? This was a really large painting, so that it would have a little bit of room to breathe. Not bad. Not bad at all. Oh, what about this? Oh, that's dried. And then I wonder why my hair dryers never last long. One thing I really want to fix is I really want to touch on that yellow. It's not the right yellow. Ooh, that's way too much paint. I'm kind of bummed that I got the wrong yellow on there. Louie, you're not by yourself. I'm right here. I don't know why you're all wigged out. It's so not like my dog. Baba, you're fine. What's the matter? I think my dog is hiding underneath the table. It's just, that is just not like him, so. Oh, sorry. See, that's what happens when you stand underneath my feet, boo. You're fine, Bub. What's the matter? No, you can't go outside right now. I already let you out. I know you're hearing noises, but you're really okay. I have to improvise a little bit because I don't have the tools, the real tools that he was using. That's more of a Mirabelli mark, but I'm going to leave it for now. If I had an oil stick, it probably would give me that effect a little bit more. And again, if I was on raw canvas, real raw canvas, it would be much better. Or much worse, because I don't really paint very well on raw canvas. You know, this could certainly be a painting that I would hang in my bedroom or in a hallway in my own house as an ode to Cy Twombly, the master of mark making. The only thing I don't really like is this square here. I am not able to balance it out because I couldn't get the translucency that he had. I should have done that a different way. So what I could do is just try it again. My finger. My finger was stuck. Yeah, there's no shame in saying I didn't get it and doing it again. No, Ginger, out, 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 out. Why do you always come when I'm right in the middle of making the worst mess? That's actually a little bit better. I actually think it needs to be a little bit smaller in terms of size. And then because I washed that all away, my marks, probably need to add just a little bit, some back. I'd be curious to know how long his paintings took. I mean, mine's nowhere near as sophisticated as his are or is. Oh, don't go away on me. He left more natural canvas showing. I'm not surprised that I couldn't manage that. That is my downfall, is overworking pieces. But really fun to try though. Man, I can't say I totally enjoyed this. I probably just, I could just keep going on this. If I just write some of this stuff back in, it might not be so bad. I don't know where my proper pencil is though. Okay, I'm almost done. I could just keep going. I could just keep going on this. I probably enjoyed this more than you guys did. Sorry. I did not think I was going to enjoy this as much as I did. I just love this man's work so much, and it was so interesting to try. Yeah. Am I still painting? Yes, I am. I just love how he kept some of it. Like I can't get it now because I've now covered up too much of the canvas. But how he was able to do these just single little lines and just keep everything so interesting is just blows my mind. Now, had that been on raw canvas, it might have been a little bit better in terms of being able to see. But what am I doing? Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to, hold on, that's for a circle here. I forgot to flip my phone around the right way so that you guys would have a better camera. That yellow needed to be deeper and not so translucent, but I don't have anything that makes that mark. But you could see, like, I also had texture on mine, which kind of skews everything a little bit. Oops. Sorry, guys. Never fails. Just wondering why it's so big. So if my canvas was a little bit lighter, the back of it would shine through a little bit more. And that's the thing with raw canvas, right? Is that you get the natural light that shines through the what's it called? The canvas that I can't capture in not using raw canvas. But I think in terms of experimenting and understanding that layer process, practicing the style of the masters is really a really good little exercise to do. And so, I mean, you know, I look at that. I think I had it more the first time where I said, hey, it actually doesn't look that bad. And then I overworked it. But that's fine. It's like, it's just a practice thing. But it's a good study. It's a good study for me on, you know, how delicate line could be and how fast a painting could just be overworked. And still how much more richness can happen the more you layer, you know, wipe it away, do it again, try it again, use different tools. In order for me to get what Cy Twombly did in that painting would take me months because he was just so gifted in doing it. And so what marks you think are simple, not you in specifics, but so many people would look at his work and say, a child can do that. My child can do that. Not my child, but you know what I mean? It's just not possible. It takes so much time to learn how to do something like that. It just blows my mind. So I'm really glad that I got to play around with this and try it. And I encourage you guys all to practice this week on a smaller scale. You don't have to do a big one like mine. And just practice a little bit with this painting here and try and figure out his layering process and try it for yourselves, because you won't know how challenging it is until you actually attempt it. And from, oh, here we go. Oh my goodness, I'm just having one of those moments. I almost lost you for a minute. Any questions? As I see, we are at 8 o'clock. I don't think I see any questions on here. However, I could be on the wrong swipe to the left to see comments. Oh, here we go. See, the comments sometimes get to... thank you. So glad you enjoyed it. Christine, yes, minimalist. As you all know, I suck at minimalist. Minimalist paintings are the hardest paintings to do. I say this over and over and over again. They are a challenge. I think we should try this with raw canvas though. I would be up for that. What cloth? I was using paper towel, so nothing special. I'm kind of a queen. Yeah, it was a paper towel. I could use a cloth. I I don't know what the name of this painting is, of this painting. I'm not sure, but I did post it on the Facebook page, but I don't know the name of the painting. Yeah, raw canvas is a challenge in terms of how it absorbs the paint. I tried it a few times and it's like, oh, I just can't figure it out and things don't look right to me. But when you can nail raw canvas, it is beautiful. I do have some raw canvas if I get some energy at some point, because I would have to stretch a canvas. I can certainly stretch the canvas. I think this exercise would be really fun to redo on a stretched canvas so that you can see the difference. I do think that we should all practice once or twice on raw canvas just to get the feel of it and how simply just changing, not adding primer or not adding gesso can really take your art to a whole different place that you never thought was even possible. When I say raw, do I mean no gesso? Yes, I just mean plain cotton canvas. There's no gesso on it. It has not been painted white. So I have rolls of it. So I do have some canvas around here, and I do have, what do I have? I have stretcher bars. There is something somewhere around here that I can do. So maybe let's try, I don't think next week I'll have time for it. Potentially. I might try. I might try. Just because I want you guys to see the difference and it's still fresh in your mind. So why don't we just try and do that? I'll try and stretch the canvas this weekend and I'll have it ready for, what is today? Wednesday. Yeah, I can have it ready for Wednesday. Whoa, wait a second. I'm having a memory here that I am not home on Wednesday. I am at my sister's house because I'm leaving early in the morning on a flight. And so I have to, what was I going to do? I don't want to miss, but I don't think I can do 2 lessons in one day, like switch it to Tuesday because I go live on Tuesday with Instagram. You know what I can do? I'll switch Instagram to Monday and I'll switch you guys to Tuesday. Does that work? I hope that's all right. I don't want to miss a week. I just feel like I missed so much when I moved and stuff. So that's what I'll do. I'll send out a reminder. I'll go live Tuesday night at 7 with you guys, and I'll go live Monday night with my Instagram group. And I will have an unprimed canvas, and we will try this again. I think it'll be fun. If you guys can get your hands on one, absolutely give it a try. And I'm going to end it there, and I'm going to go and tend to my dog because I don't know what's wrong with him because he doesn't normally act like that. So thank you for tonight. I had a lot of fun trying it, and I hope you guys got something out of it. And the other thing is, it's your job now, not next week. We're going to redo this painting. But the week after that, I want you guys to list a couple of abstract artists that you would like me to try. And then I'll pick one of them and see if I can try and do something. All right, so post them on the Facebook page so that I can look through them all. And if you guys do give this a try, please post your photos to the page so that we can all see what you guys have been working on. I think it'll be really fun to see everybody's attempt. Okay, have a good night. I'm going to go wash my hands. Ciao.